Peace and blessings, everyone. Trying to figure out where I'm gonna start. It's been a while since I made a video. Last videos I made were pertaining to me going to New York. Well, I made that trip. Made a trip, and I was only actually there for a few days. Then I came back home, and actually I was come back home just to get my car and drive back out. But within the time of me come back home, my wife was laid off from the last position she was doing through a temp agency. So the money was funny, and so it just wasn't financially feasible for me to drive back out. And thus right now I'm still at home, and I guess I'm really on limbo on deciding if I'm going back out to New York or not, if I need to go back out or not. It's a lot of things. So for one, the most pressing issue is a money issue. It's just not financially feasible for me to go, because I can't afford my home here, my house, my mortgage, and to get a place there in New York. But then at the same time, like I said, I'm wondering if it's necessary. I do feel like I'm being pulled there, but when I focus on that which I believe I'm being pulled there for, there's a lot of confusion inside of me, exactly what I can do to solve the problem I see. So I guess I might as well discuss what happened, in my brief time there. I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. I spoke to several people. Even on the way there, I got in a conversation with this young man. Very interesting. It's always interesting to talk to people, and people are interesting with their thought process and their different ideologies and beliefs and whatnot. And of course, I can't think of his name right now to be able to shout him out. But anyway, so I get to New York, and it was quite interesting then when I got there with the people I was able to run into. Many brothers from here on YouTube. So I was able to catch up with Sanetter. I was able to run into the Duke of Tears, Tariq Bey. And ultimately, originally I was hoping to find Fillmore, the Red Pill and whatnot, but him nor his brother, the twins, they weren't out during that time I was there. So, but I was able to break bread with these other brothers, and also and I'm forgetting the brother's name on top of my head. So like I say, I ended up running to these brothers and talking to them, and as I talked to them, really I listened to them. I posed some questions and I listened to where they come, and I told them that I was there to figure out how to solve the problem within the black community. I didn't bring up about going to UN or nothing, because one, I had sent these videos to these brothers, so if they were really concerned, they would have known who I was and my purpose, and it wouldn't be a need for me introducing, telling what's going on. But I knew from the lack of views on that video and replies that people weren't looking and paying attention anyway. So. And it was confirmed when I had to introduce myself, and I told someone that I sent him a video, and I think he sort of recollected, but he didn't. And if he did, I don't think he really knew what Vic was talking about, because once again he never brought up. But anyway, so in listening to and in trying to, and I was just trying to listen more so anything, because I was realizing as long as I listen, people will talk, and they'll talk, and I might just throw out a question here and there, but they'll talk, and you can get an understanding of exactly where they're coming from. So as I listen to these brothers, I for one knew that I didn't have the backing that I would need to bring about any change or any movement behind what I was saying, because people weren't feeling the video anyway, weren't feeling what I was saying or what I wanted to do, just from the views. And so I knew that literally I could have went out there, when I said I was gonna go, and I could have starved to death, and it really wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered in the near term. It could have maybe affected a change somewhere down the line. If I literally was starved to death, maybe it would have taken that to do something. But in the meantime, in the midst of me starving, I knew that I would be just out there starving. And right now, really, as I sit here and think, maybe that would have been what was fully necessary, because I would have got attention from somewhere, even if it would have been the police coming and taking me away and locked me up for being crazy. But that ultimately wouldn't have been my goal. And so, I felt I had to rethink, my plan and how I was attempting to approach it. I felt it's best I tried to rethink what I was doing. So, like I said, I was around these brothers for a few days. Even went and listened to a meeting, the Moors and whatnot. And some things I came away with is that, and talking to Sarnetta and understanding, that he's been in the streets for him and Brother Jack, trying to help this community and trying to bring my change, and they haven't really been successful. And there's whatever this problem is within the black community and with each specific place, like within New York itself and the black community and the different trains of thoughts, and why there's all this, they want to call it debate, but I don't know if it's even debate. I think it's just more arguing than anything. I don't know. When you debate, all right, you have your two sides, and what are you debating about? Ultimately, you're debating about truth, hopefully, right? So everybody's bringing truth. But if both sides are supposedly bringing truth, but at the end of the day, neither side sees the truth of the other side, and then what is it? What is the problem? Somebody obviously is not bringing truth, and so how can you really prove the other person isn't, and how can you prove that you are? And that's the problem with all this debate of where we come from, whatnot. And because once again, all the information that's going to be brought, that is going to be referenced, is for the most part hearsay. You're going to rely on something that you're reading that is authentic, that is the truth. You're going to rely on something that somebody else wrote. No matter how far you go back, you have to depend on somebody. If you go to Egypt, let's go to Egypt, and you go to the hieroglyphs, it has to take someone else interpret them for you to tell you what it is they mean. You can become archaeologists and go to school and work to interpret themselves, but then you're still gonna have to rely on some precedence that has been set of what a symbol means, and then you have to try to interpret, well, what does symbol mean? And let's try to figure out. And so, at the end of the day, what can really be trusted? No matter what information, how much information, what can really be trusted as being the truth? If you weren't there, if you weren't part of it, then how will you ever truly know? No matter how many witnesses you may get to say that something occurred, if you weren't there to observe it yourself, or if you weren't that or if you weren't part of it directly, if you weren't Jesus Christ yourself, how can anyone say that Jesus Christ actually existed? No matter him being in the Bible, no matter where you might find him in other books, and of course that's the debate. Still, how can anyone ever really say, and today, and as of now, that the truth is he existed? Because after so long that a lie goes on, after generation after generation, it becomes the truth, and the truth becomes a lie. So we get lost. So once again, these brothers going from different point of views, and what I was thinking is, okay, I see these brothers and they say they want to work together, but it doesn't seem like they do. I think they realize that they have a common cause at the end of the day, but they don't want to work together for the common cause. And here's an example. So when I was there, I met this brother who was the president of the Harlem chapter of the New Black Panther Party, Shaka, and he was gonna have a class that coming Wednesday. And the same day of him having a class, I think he holds classes, I believe, every week, every Wednesday at a local college near there in Harlem. Well, that Wednesday, that same night, Tariq Bey, probably with his Moore group, they were having classes, and so in my mind, I was thinking, well, they're working against each other, because you're gonna have a person like me specifically. I had to make a choice of which I was gonna go to, because they both being held at the same time. Excuse me. I was sort of thinking of planning. I was told I was thinking about going to the thing for Shaka, the Black Panther Party. It's classes for I think for youth too. It's classes for understanding. I guess it's Black enlightenment and whatnot, and things that's going on in the community and society, as a whole, I believe, and things of that nature. And so I was thinking about going that, and then I found out about the class that being held by Tariq Bey, and I know more of him than Shaka, so I felt, well, I want to go to that, because I was already been hearing about the Moors and him doing with the sovereignty and whatnot. So I want to go to that because I was more familiar with that. But once again, I had to decide. And and if these brothers are supposed to be working together, then they had to basically get their schedules together. They're both trying to help the Black people. Well, if you put them in a position where they have to make choices and decisions and separate and split, well, you're splitting, and it's not as powerful. So I think all these brothers that get together, check the schedules, and say, hey, we're gonna have them this night and this night, and let's work together, get out one big message that, hey, this is gonna happen throughout the entire week. Put out a weekly schedule of who's holding what on what night. Whether it's some class and maybe the Hebrew Israelites gonna give or whatever, or some Kemet knowledge. But if it's gonna be held, get together, put out a calendar, and so that everybody who wants to get a piece of all that, they can get it and get it in order, and not, well, I'll go Wednesday here tonight and then I have to skip the next Wednesday and go another night, and things like that. So it was that thinking that I came to realize, or I believe that, well, what I'm trying to do here right now isn't going to work, because they're not going to, if they can't unify together, and they've been knowing each other years, they're not going to be willing to unify with me, because they don't know me. I'm a stranger. I'm the brother from California, and I know I'm going to be looked at with a crooked eye, like, yeah, okay, what are you really about? Am I just a mole? Am I agent of the man or whatnot? I'm the brother, and I'm of a different background than them, whatnot. I come from totally different states, so There has to be some awareness, and I sort of got that from Jack. I don't know, I got the feeling that he wasn't feeling me, that he was weary of me, leery of me. Because actually I talked to him initially when I got there, because I recognized his face first from YouTube, so I was talking to him, and then I realized it was Sonetta standing there right next to him. I was like, not a brother. And so yeah, so I talked to Jack initially, and I was supposed to come back the next day, and I talked to him for a quick minute, and then he just walked off, and so I was dealing more with Sonetta, and Jack was just off. Maybe just taking care of business. But I just feel like I was getting a feeling that, like I said, that he wasn't feeling me. So anyway, so that's when on that. Like I said, so I was there for a few days, and I came back, and I was supposed to go back. But now I'm wondering, is it necessary for me to go back? Can I bring about change here, here in California, just by putting out videos? I believe ultimately, yes, I can. I mean, because I can get to millions and literally billions of people, just putting videos here on YouTube. But being that I'm focused on a specific issue, a specific problem, and that is, the black community, black condition, whatever name you want to give us, African American, whatever. I think the best place to do that, central location, is there in New York. But if I'm just gonna go out there and just become caught up in the drama of the debates that's going on, will that do any good? I'll just be another voice out there in the street yelling in the wilderness. And I mean, and that's almost literally, there's plenty of people out in the corners, women preaching from the Bible, talking about Jesus and whatnot. You had the FOIs out there, excuse me, and I talked to a brother out there, and what's his name? Of course I know his name, I got it written down somewhere, can't remember it. I'm just be another face in the crowd. And so my question is, would I ever be successful if I'm just another face in the crowd? Like I said, even if I yelled, I'll still just be another yelling face in the crowd. I mean, I would be nothing new. They'd be used to me. I said, it'd be like, oh, we've seen you before. I mean, you just like dude down there. What makes you different? You're yelling. So that's where I'm at right now. And I don't know. I'm just, trying to look for the guidance. Because I believe we're always guided. I guess ultimately I feel I'm being guided to New York, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm not missing out on blessings here at home. Because ultimately, I'm in an ideal situation, right? The so-called American dream. I got a house, a home, wife, children, family. I've said this before, I'm cool, I'm set. And I want to make sure I'm not missing out on the fact that is a blessing from God for me to be thankful and happy with this current situation, and for me to leave it and possibly disrupt it totally and completely. It could be I guess in a way disrespecting our blessing or not realizing our blessing, and so a blessing could go away. Although I always believe everything will always be all right. Everything, as long as you move forward in faith, everything will always be all right. But I just want to, at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm not missing something that's right here in front of my face. But I don't want to sit here and be content with my position. But that's another thing. No matter how good, and I had quotes, I don't know if you can see me. I know I'm doing this in the dark, but I don't want to turn lights in it or anything. No matter how good I have it, it's still every day I'm thinking about those who are suffering. I'm thinking about the pain and suffering out there. I'm thinking about the bombs that are going off around me. At all times, that's what's on my mind. These bombs are going off around me. And I hope that you're conscious of them going off. These bombs of lies, these bombs of apathy, these bombs of indifference, these bombs of pains, these bombs of suffering, these bombs of death, these bombs of child starvation, these bombs of prejudice. All these issues, these bombs are going off around us, and at any time you can become a casualty of these bombs. The bombs of the black on black crime, they're always going off. It's there. There are bombs going off around us constantly. They're around you constantly. And the thing is, especially here in America, you know, and I guess, you know, these first world countries, because if there's third world, then I guess we're first world. You know, we ignore them. We don't even realize, we don't even acknowledge them being there, but they're there. They're invisible to us, but they're there. And a lot of times we are dropping bombs. You know, those who are apathetic, we're the ones dropping the bombs, bombing the city. And so if you contrast that with these countries over there, these third world countries, you know, with Iraq and everywhere, you know, where the wars are, where literal wars are going on every day, where suicide bombers are going every day. Every day, for the last week, like every other day, somebody's, you know, then set off a bomb in Pakistan or something, and people are just dying. I think just today, this morning, 140-some people were killed by a suicide bomb or something. Well, if you look at these people, these families, these parents of children, they do the same things that we do here in America. They go out every day. They still send their children to school. They go out. They try to be happy either within their home. They try to find some happiness. The kids will try to play. And when they send their kids out, or when they send them in their home, at any point in time, they know that a bomb could kill them, could destroy their home, could kill them, their entire family, a part of their family, literal bombs. And so here in the United States, we have metaphorical bombs. We have these, you know, these other type of bombs, but they're just as deadly. And maybe even more so because, you know, we think everything's all hunky-dory because we don't have these little explosions going off. And what happens is when one really goes off, a serious one, well then we act like we're in shock. Well, much like them. I mean, we cry like they cry over these countries where the wars. You know, they cry when their loved ones die, and I sort of see myself. I imagine myself if being in the same situation as them. You have these people over there in these countries that are at war. They have families. Just the everyday normal person, and as they sit there, what can they do? What can they really do? What can they do about the fact that these bombs are going off? What can I do about the fact that these bombs are going off? I can speak out. They can speak out, but that's not stopping. If anything, I would need to get to the source to stop the bombing. They would need to get to the source. They would need to get to the Taliban or what's the other group? They would need to get to the terrorists, or terrorists there, or the terrorists, or here. You know, or when you know, the United States are dropping bombs and killing just regular citizens every day. That's the only way to stop it. They would have to get to them, get to that direct source to stop it. And they don't have the power, just as I don't have the power. How do I get to direct it to the source of the lies, the source of the apathy, the source of the indifference, of the pain and suffering? What is the source, and how do I get to it to stop it? But I know this part of the source is myself. Part of the source is you who watch these videos. Part of the source is just really, and ultimately, I guess really it's the same as for them. The source is the world. The source is everybody in the world. That's the source. Because it takes everybody in the world to decide to put an end to it. If they did, then it would, or at least the majority of the world. I don't know if it would take just the majority or would it take the entire. Because I have to believe the majority is one that's suffering. The truth bears out that it's the majority that's suffering. You know, you can go specifically here in the United States. You know, it's the 1% of the population that controls, what is it, 40% of the wealth or whatever it is. And you have a lot of the wealthy countries. You know, it's the minority that has all the wealth and thus all the true comfort and all the privilege, and it's the great majority that does without. So the majority should be one standing up to make a change, but they don't. So I don't know. It's a constant struggle within my mind as I try to grasp it and get my brain around it to make some sense of it, to make sure I'm being sensible and figure out what it is, you know, I can do, should do, or able to do. Beyond just doing the videos. Maybe these videos is all I can do and all is necessary. But I know this video right here isn't going to stop that child from starving. So, and that's the issue. That's the problem. So I just continue watching these videos on here and just trying to figure out what can be done differently that hasn't been done before. There have been so many before me, but it hasn't been successful. Why is that? Is it just not the time and place? It's gotta be. It's the 21st century. I'll stop there. I had something. Well, I'm gonna stop here and I'm gonna put up in that video dealing with another subject. Alright? God bless everyone. Peace and love.